stop mental gymnastics. Okay, so this video is going to break down where you're going wrong with your athletic performance in terms of mindset. Okay, this is a really important one because it's really going to help determine your outcome. Now, when we are thinking about our sport, we're always going to have different events that happen, right? And we cannot control the events that are happening in and around us. 90% of hockey is not within our control. 90% of any sport that we participate in is not in our control. And if you think about it, even with jiu-jitsu competitions, you can't control how long you're in the bullpen for. You can't control if there's mat delays. In hockey, you can't control the coach's calls or your line or whether or not how much playing time you're getting. So there's so much that is not within our control. Now, the problem is with our subconscious mind, we all have default settings. So if something is happening in and around us that we're not happy with or that's bothering us, we have default settings. And depending on our conditioning, depending on our subconscious programming, it's going to look like a variety of different reactions. It's going to look like anger or shame or even fear that you're going to lose your spot on the line or your position or your whole future is going to fall apart, right? There's so many different things that can pop up with default settings. Maybe think of something that's bothering you right now. I can tell you it's probably like stress, you're sad, you're scared. So there's a lot of different things that happen when this is triggered. Now, I want to really emphasize that there's a difference between a reaction and a response to the situation. Okay, so when we're reacting, we're relying on these default settings to get us through this situation. And it's never pretty. We're always like grappling and doing these mental gymnastics in our mind, trying to get back on track. But when we actually consciously choose to respond, right? We always get like a second and a third option to tackle the same problem, but from an elevated perspective. So we can choose to respond to the situation with a little more confidence and calmness and with more strategy, right? And I'm going to tell you that depending on how you either react or respond to the situation is directly going to impact your outcome. So that's super important, because if we're not responding to these situations and to these, things that might be popping up in our career, our outcome is going to be affected. We're going to lose trust with our coaches. We're going to lose our spot on the line. We're not going to advance as quickly as we expected, right? So it's important to note that you have the option. You have the ability to respond differently. You don't have to cycle through this. In fact, you can stop this at any time. But I want you to just be aware of when you're falling into this trap, okay? Because again, like we all have that default settings. It's just becoming aware of when you're triggering this. And then just to say, okay, I choose something different. I choose to respond to this completely different. And then you'll be more like this guy with the smile on his face. So I hope that video made sense. If you have any questions, let me know.